I'll do it for Gone, but not forgotten. This week, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service declared 21 species newly extinct.
Yeah, the list includes many mussels, a bat, and nearly a dozen birds. One of these birds is native to the Carolinas and was last spotted near Charleston 65 years ago. Meteorologist and climate specialist Elisa Raffa spoke with a local bird expert about this particular bird and the rate of future extinctions.
Yeah, Lisa, tell us about the Bachman's warbler.
I honestly was kind of geeking out about this today, just really deep diving, doing some reading and research, and what I found was super interesting. So the Bachman's warbler was discovered by Reverend John Bachman back in 1832 near the Odessa River in South Carolina. But the last confirmable report of a sighting was in Charleston County in 1958. So these drawings that we're going to show you are some of the only images that we can use on TV because there just aren't that many pictures of this bird. It hasn't been seen since the 1960s. So there's not a ton known about this bird, but what scientists do know is that it was a habitat specialist, meaning it didn't really adapt well to changes in its home. So when settlers came in and took out their swampy homes for agriculture, they were never able to find or recover a new place to live, and they were never able to recover. And researchers think that this is also true for its winter's home in Cuba. So I got to speak to a local ornithologist at North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. Take a listen.
I think that the disappearance of the Bachman's warbler is sort of a symptom of broader ecological decay. You know, as ecosystems become more homogenized and more disturbed, they lose the resilience that can help protect us against climate change and also protect biodiversity. And I think that's a big lesson to be taken from the extinction.
And so, as we were talking here, that warbler just one of 21 different species that was newly extinct. So is this alarming, and why is this really happening?
That was my first question to Dr. O'Shea, was 21 seems like a lot. Is that a lot? And he says any extinction is alarming, and 21 is a lot. But remember, these species haven't been seen in decades, so there's not going to be an immediate ecological impact. He also said that for birds in particular, climate change and loss of habitat are the biggest challenges that they face. A lot of these birds on the list are from Hawaii, and island birds are most often vulnerable to these threats. He actually called Hawaii the extinction capital of the world for birds. Habitat loss and invasive diseased mosquitoes are to blame there. Climate change as a whole is warming our seasons and shifting the pattern migrations of these birds. They head farther north in the winter, and that missed times they meet up with their food sources like caterpillars and bugs. If the plants and the bugs emerge too soon, if the spring starts too early, then the birds miss out on their food sources. Here's Dr. O'Shea again on conservation.
I think that we're making progress. There's certainly a lot of work to be done. There's a lot more that we need to do as a society to address a lot of these impacts of climate change and to protect birds and their habitats. And I'm glad that we're working on it, but we do have a lot more to do.
And when I asked him about conservation, he said that you actually can do it at home. You can start in your backyard if you have like natural plant species or decals that are like bird safe on your windows. Like that's even that small step is a start.
Yeah, it takes a long time for a bird to go to extinct.
Yeah.
That was a long time. 1958 was the last time?
Yeah, that was the last time that they've seen it. So they like wait all these years to make sure they have enough evidence, because once it's extinct, they can't help it out if there's a couple left over somewhere.
It is documented, Elisa.
Yes.
Thanks.